This is an RPPV production. We'd like to advise this podcast contains descriptions of disturbing violence. Listener discretion is advised. And welcome to I Think My Fridge is Haunted, a very creepy podcast. Hello, my name is Gemma.
And I'm Esther. Nice to meet everyone.
Welcome.
Through the audio land.
We're a bit nervous, aren't we?
Yeah.
We've never done this before.
I refuse to hear myself on any recording device. I cannot listen to my voice message, anything. So this is going to be a nightmare for me, but I'm really excited to do this. So.
Well, it's all right. You don't have to do the editing. That's for me. So,
you.
you know, we can just release it and you can just read the comments on Instagram.
I will. I'll just stalk the feedback, and if anyone writes bad reviews, then
you can deal with that.
I will stalk your family and your workplace. And
you can haunt them.
Yeah, that's it. I'll wait till I'm dead and then I'll come after you. So leave us a 5-star review.
Do it. Thank you. You've been busy lately.
Have I? I have.
Yeah, kinda.
It doesn't stop with me. Yeah, you know, I just got married.
I mean, hello, congratulations.
Thank you.
Was it fun?
It was. You know, it was the most stressful thing I've ever done, and the most terrifying thing. And you know, you and I take our clothes off in front of strangers.
Yeah, we do.
Every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And that I could have done that 1,000 times over, and the wedding day would still be the scariest thing I've ever done.
Really? So when I got married, my mum was like, "Are you nervous?" And I was like, "No, I'm just going on stage."
Oh, see, I kept telling myself, you do this all the time, it's fine. But no, it was petrifying.
You just got to repeat what the celebrant says and say yes and blah, blah, blah.
I stuffed it up.
It's easy. My husband was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you came." I was like, "What?" He thought I wasn't going to turn up.
Yeah. No, well, it's too expensive to not rock up.
It's
so
true, isn't
you
it?
Have to...
It's so true. We don't have that option.
No.
Normal people. Celebrities, yes. Normal people, no. You've got to go through with it.
That's it.
So, let's get into it. I Think My Fridge is Haunted. What's this all about?
Okay, guys. This is a very creepy podcast for and by very creepy people. So, Gem and I both share an interest in the creepy, the spooky, true crime, cryptids, aliens, conspiracy theories, anything that makes you go, "Oh my God, can you tell me more?"
Yeah, I like to think I'm one of those people that sort of at parties goes, "Oh, you're into true crime. Oh, who's your favorite serial killer?"
Yes.
I mean, not favorite. I mean,
like,
you know,
who
like
do
what's
you
the,
admire,
what's
but
the,
not
but not
admire,
admire.
but,
But you know, what's the one that interests you? Yeah.
What's your favorite?
We're those people.
Yeah, definitely. Like, that is a question I ask anyone I meet. And I think it also shows the type of character you are. If you react really harshly to that question, then you can kind of gauge what type of conversations you could have.
Yeah, because they're like, "Oh my God, I can't deal with scary movies.
Yeah,
I just can't even watch them. I have to, like, you know, I fall asleep to scary movies."
Same.
Like,
I listen to scary podcasts
stories
to fall asleep.
and that kind of thing. I find it really relaxing and soothing, but other people like, "No, I have to close my eyes. Can't do this."
Yeah, all the lights on, everything.
No.
Give me a ghost, give me a killer, and I'm a happy girl.
Yeah. Give me a Sasquatch.
Give me a Sasquatch. Give me I cannot wait to tell you guys.
Oh, there is one that I know that scares you though.
Oh, okay.
That one.
Okay.
You know the one.
I am petrified of a certain haunted doll. I can't even say his name because I'm that terrified of him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll ever be able to cover it because it is weird.
Well,
weird stuff happen.
I don't like parasites, and you want to cover parasites. So if we have to do parasites, I'm going to spend most of the time in the bathroom throwing up. So if we have to do that, then we've got to do the doll one.
Okay,
because it doesn't
that's
scare
your
me.
hint. It's a doll.
We'll do one episode of stuff we're both really scared of.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
Okay,
shake
I'll just
on
have
it.
to like bless.
All right. We
the
shook
room.
on it.
Okay.
Good.
All right, it's happening.
All right. Well, should we get into it?
Okay, let's get into
What's
it.
ooh.
Ooh.
Do you have a fact from the freezer?
This is my fact from the freezer.
This is what we're going to do.
Okay, your weird fact. Maggots and mayflies can breathe out of their butts. I tell this to everyone I meet.
That's really
It's an
random.
icebreaker.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think
Of sorts.
well, what I'm imagining, because I just heard it, I heard it from another podcast, but apparently it's so they can just like continuously eat. They just keep eating and they can breathe at the same time.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like a tube.
Right. Wow. So that's why like there's so many of them, because they can multitask so well.
Yeah.
That they could just keep reproducing.
Yeah, it's like constantly eating and breathing. And
Can you imagine if humans could do that? There'd be
I
so
think
many
some
people on the
can
planet.
do. There's a lot of smelly people
Well, true.
on the Frankston line. Shout out to Frankston.
Yeah, we're from Frankston. Well, so
Yeah.
around Frankston.
Yeah. don't.
And if anyone's listening from overseas,
Frankston is like the if Jonestown had lots of how can I be sensitive about this? If you mixed Jonestown with the characters from Summer Heights High
Oh my God, yes.
and Neighbours
yes.
and Rebel Wilsons everywhere,
True.
then you'd have Frankston.
With the train
Take
station.
away
It
the
has
cult.
to have the train station.
Yeah,
there.
and
Yeah.
the seagulls.
Yeah, the seagulls.
And this, my auntie found a horse's head washed up on the beach at Frankston back in the day.
Stop.
That's what I tell people when I describe Frankston. I'm like, yeah, my aunt was on the beach having a nice day, and a horse's head just floated up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so Frankston.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Shout out
That's
to our Frankston
crazy. But you know what's crazy? I believe you. You know,
I hope so.
That's the type of thing that would happen in Frankston.
Yeah, there's your overseas description for foreigners.
Yeah, we're really selling
Come
it,
and
aren't
visit
we?
the peninsula.
Yeah, true. The further down the peninsula you get, the more affluent it is, though. Like the nicer and the more posh
Yeah.
and more richer
It
people
is.
and that kind of thing. We're at the top.
No, but see, not rich people aren't always that great.
No, I'm not saying they are, but the surrounds are nicer.
They are very pretty.
Anyway, thanks for that fact.
Yeah. Okay. Your
That's
fact.
fun. Okay, so I found a fact that I actually found out was false.
Oh.
The fact that I found out was
So
a
it's not a
pregnant.
fact?
Well, no, it's not. It's a non-fact.
Okay. All right.
But I've got a real fact after it. But I just thought
Okay.
I'd mention it. Pregnant goldfish is called a twit.
oh, that's cute.
I know it is cute,
That's
isn't
a bit
it?
rude though to call the fish.
But then I looked it up and I looked up like what is a pregnant goldfish called, and it's like an urban myth.
Oh, that's a weird urban myth.
I know, it's dumb, isn't it?
It's not much of a crazy myth. Like it's
know.
not that shocking.
Anyway, so I've got a better one.
Okay,
But
go.
this one is true. Apparently, says Google.
Oh.
Armadillo shells are bulletproof.
Oh, I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. A fact that came to light when a Texas man shot one with the bullet ricocheting off the animal and hitting him in the jaw.
Yeah, but okay, the Texas man, right? So he could be any sort of Texan. He could be a drunk Texan. We don't know what type of gun he was using. Stereotypical Texan.
You mean it could like have been like a pellet gun or something?
It could have been what are they, spud guns?
I don't know what that is.
It's a gun that shoots spuds.
Okay, so it wasn't a machine gun.
Yeah, we have to know what type of gun.
I just thought that the thing about it that makes me feel like it's true is the fact that he got hit in the jaw. It's a random place, isn't it? Like it wasn't he got hit in the face or he got hit in the heart or the kneecap. It's like the jaw. It's just random.
Yeah, it's like saying you got shot in the earlobe.
Yes. So that's what made me think, well, it must be true.
That's like a trick question in an exam. You have to go with the real abstract one.
All right.
Well, I mean, how do you hunt armadillos? Is that what you were saying? Or aardvarks? I forgot.
Armadillo.
Armadillo. Surely, because people hunt them.
Do they?
Yeah, it's like on the black market. It's like
Oh.
the shells. I'm pretty sure they.
Oh my God, that's so
it's
sad.
like a huge.
They must
like a
poison
huge trade
them.
for it, probably.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, people suck. People suck. On a brighter note, guys, let's talk about some spooky.
Yay!
I mean, my story is not that positive, so apologies.
What are we going to do now? we just brought it all down now.
Don't worry, I'll bring it up and then I'll make it a little bit medium and then we'll go down a little bit and then I'll bring it up again.
It's a roller coaster ride.
It is.
Cool.
It is.
All right, well, let's do it. What have you got?
All right. My story is the suicide forest in Japan.
Amazing.
Yeah, so this one was quite heavy to research. I'm obsessed with Japan. Mm-hmm. I tried learning Japanese a while ago and I was so bad at it.
I can't imagine that's an easy language to learn.
It's not. It's so.
Is it a tonal language?
It's got a lot of like lilts and it's all in the delivery.
Wow.
It's like
okay.
It's
complicated.
It's hard.
Yeah.
English, Japanese, I wish I could speak it, but I can't. So there's a lot of pronunciations that I will butcher, and I apologize. I've actually had to write out the sounds. So bear with me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try, but here's my story. Okay, so the suicide forest is called, let's see, Oikigahara. I
pronounce it Akikuhara.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's correct.
It's spelled Aokigahara. So it's something along the lines of Oikigahara.
Cool.
But I'm just going to call it the suicide forest.
Yeah,
Cool.
That sounds good.
It is located at the base of Mount Fuji, which is the highest mountain peak in Japan. The suicide forest is a 30 square kilometer forest, also known as the Sea of Trees.
So that's not actually that big, is it, really?
It's not. But I think being inside the forest, it would seem huge.
True. Yeah, true.
It's a real dense forest.
Yeah, okay.
So I think if you were lost especially, it'd be pretty big.
Right.
Considered throughout the history of Japanese lore as the home of Yuri, which are Japanese ghosts. Again, I'm probably mispronouncing it. I'm sorry. Especially to the ghosts. Each year, as many as 100 victims take their life at the suicide forest, which is crazy. And Japan is one, I think, possibly the world capital of suicide.
Really?
Yeah, which is heavy. I mean, it's quite deep in Japanese culture. There's like whole suicide cults and stuff.
Whoa.
It is. Oh, I should say a trigger warning, by the way, everyone.
Oh,
trigger
yeah.
Warning.
Yes.
Yeah, but suicide is quite heavy in Japan. It's pretty intense, obviously.
Okay.
The forest it's absolutely stunning. If you look up pictures, it is literally a sea of trees. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. I really wanted to go when the times I've been to Japan, but I haven't made it yet. Many hikers do go to this forest because of the beauty of the forest. And from the forest, you can also see Mount Fuji, which is, I mean, if you follow Hokusai, that artist, there are so many
The
views.
wave.
Yeah. There are so many views of Mount Fuji that are just famous in Japan. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. This was a fact I didn't actually know, but a lot of school children go to the forest because there are famous ice caves, which is crazy.
Ice caves?
So literally caves just with those, is it stalactites?
So the way I remember it is stalactites are the ones that come from the ceiling because they have to hold on real tight.
But it's ice.
Ah.
Yeah. So
wow.
melty ice that are...
all year round? Or just in winter?
I think so. Oh, no.
That's
summer's really
interesting.
hot. So I'm guessing it's just in winter.
Okay.
So I thought that was interesting. Visiting can be quite eerie too. The trees are so closely grown together that visiting some areas of the forest, you literally put into complete darkness. Like the leaves are so thick from above that it cuts out sunlight.
Wow, so that's like the canopy is so thick and dense. Wow. Yeah.
Which I think once you were in the forest would be very, especially if you knew the kind of the lore around it, it would be pretty scary. I mean, I don't know, Australia doesn't really have... Oh, Victoria at least. I mean, you go to the Black Spur.
That's what I was going to say, the Black Spur. That is quite a creepy place.
It is creepy. But I don't think we have anything quite like the Suicide Forest.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, like, in some areas, it's completely silent, which is pretty... Like, it adds the creepy element.
Perfect place to record a podcast.
Yeah. Perfect place to do anything, really, I think. Okay, so as well as it being silent, picture yourself being in this forest where hundreds of people a year have committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, it's so dark and dense that it's like having your eyes shut. It's like being in a dark room.
Wow.
Yes. And it is super famous for Japanese ghosts, which they're quite hard to research. I spent so long trying to research individual ghosts, and the only real stories I could find are real old traditional Japanese ghost stories. A lot of demons. It's amazing. And the artwork is super creepy. Like,
cool.
If you guys like horror movies, look up Japanese demons and Japanese ghosts through art, especially Hokusai.
We'll have to get a couple and put them up on the Instagram page.
Yeah, they're like, God, the imagination. But
are they the ones like you see on tattoos sometimes?
Yeah.
Like, you know, those, like, it's like a screaming demon.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
There's like a lot of skulls. There's Hokusai does a whole series on ghosts.
I didn't know that.
It's incredible.
I thought he mostly just did like landscapes.
Yeah, no, he has like a huge collection of ghosts and demons.
Wow.
They are insane.
Cool.
They're amazing. Now, the reason why it's so quiet is the actual forest floor is made of volcanic rock, which has previously been lava from Mount Fuji's 1864 eruption. Now, I had to
know
look...
it was a volcano.
Me neither. I had to... I was like... No, did I say 1864?
Yes, I think so.
864.
Oh, like ages ago.
Oh, girl, like... But yeah, the year 864, Mount Fuji erupted.
Cool.
So the floor is made up of lava. And with that, the forest grew on top of it. So there's volcanic rock floor, then the roots of the trees. And if you Google a picture of the forest, it is thick with like roots. It's crazy. I don't know how people walk. Time to get to the creepy stories from this forest. People say that the ghosts of the forest originated from this Japanese tale, and it's unconfirmed because a lot of people disagree that this was in Japanese history, because it doesn't sound like something traditional Japanese families even today would do, because they're very respectful of their elders. But it was a custom called, I'm probably going to butcher it again, ubasute, where in feudal times, when food was scarce and people were desperate, a family might take a dependent elderly relative, typically a woman, to a remote area and leave her to die.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, to me, it kind of makes sense if your family is starving and you have to look after someone who's
like the weakest link.
Yeah. I mean, in the wild, animals do it.
I guess.
In like herds and stuff. But I don't believe this is legit, because Japanese traditionally are super respectful of their elders.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of historians are like, it doesn't line up, but then like it is recorded in some documentation. So I don't know. We'll leave that in the air. So many people believe that the elderly who ended up starving to death in the forest, they turned into the ghosts that are there now. And they're super angry.
Oh, yeah. Wow. They're
so
bitter.
they've died negatively. These ghosts are not happy. Yep. And this is where a lot of visitors actually have witnessed these ghosts, assuming that they were the spirits of the abandoned old people. But in the 1960s, things started to change when the history of suicide started to surface. Trigger warning again, everyone. Now, it is said that the ghosts in the forest belong to the thousands of people that have committed suicide, which already is an insane number of suicide.
So did you say it like escalated from the 60s?
Well, from the 60s, that's when word got out that this was a destination for suicide. I don't really understand if people started to get drawn to this forest because of the quote unquote negative ghosts or energy. I don't know. Or like maybe it's some sort of like animal reaction because it's such a dark and weird place.
Eerie.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like an animal reaction to go there if you're depressed or...
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it sounds like if you're a depressed person and you go there, there's going to be like an air of hopelessness about it. You know, it's dark, it's cold.
Yeah, that's it. So, I don't know. But it moves down in a minute. I'll explain why from the 60s. Okay, so many believe all of this started in 1960 by from a book that was published by Seiko Matsumoto called Kuroi Jukai. I'm so sorry, anyone who is Japanese who is listening to this. And that translates to the Black Sea of Trees. People blame this book for the resurgence of morbidity in the forest. The book is actually about two lovers committing suicide in the very same forest. So I think that a lot of people pointed fingers at this story to trigger like a romantic...
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of got its roots in pop culture.
Yes. Yet as early as the 50s, visitors were reporting finding decomposing bodies.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is where it gets a bit creepy. So 10 years before this book was even published, there were still suicides happening in this forest.
Yeah, is there something spiritual in the forest that's pulling people in?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing, that's like, it relates back to the ghosts, like being a negative ghost. You don't know if it's kind of convincing people to feel these things or, you know, step closer into the forest, and then people get lost. Like imagine being in there, darkness, silence. I think without water, without food, you'd start to go a little bit crazy, I think. Since the 70s, teams of police, volunteers and journalists, which I thought was really random that journalists were going in, regularly do body searches. They almost never leave empty-handed, which is really sad.
Yeah, that is really sad.
In recent years, the body count has sadly increased, which doesn't surprise me.
I mean, so is the population, though.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that. But I think, I don't know, suicide.
You could look at this from so many angles.
Oh, God. It's really sad. In 2004, it reached its peak at 108 bodies that were found in the forest.
In 1 year?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
In 1 year. And they were in various states of decay. So again, we don't know, you know, when they did it. It could have been current. It could have been last year, you know, 2003.
Yeah.
And that doesn't count for the number of bodies that haven't been found.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they'll never know an exact number. Exactly. Remember how dense and huge the forest is. With layers of roots and leaves, there could be hundreds more.
And also, you know, we're talking about a place that probably has, you know, foxes, bears,
wild that's it.
Birds of prey that are going to
totally
take advantage of bodies, and
you know, you'll never get an exact number. Okay, the suicide forest is, like I said before, it is the world's highest rate for suicide location on the planet. And the only exception, which I didn't know, is the Golden Gate Bridge.
Well, I would have thought that'd be number one.
I always thought suicide forest would be number one. I didn't know it would be competing so closely with Golden Gate Bridge, which I thought was super interesting.
Yeah.
Authorities have placed signs with warnings such as please reconsider and think carefully about your children, your family, and the entrance. At the entrance, Jesus. Patrons conduct regular patrols to the area hoping to redirect visitors who look like they're not planning on coming back, which is really sad. If you watch anything on YouTube, you'll see abandoned cars that are covered in leaves and dust.
Oh,
and
that's so sad.
It's really sad. It's quite heavy. It is quite heavy.
Wow.
In 2010, 247 people attempted suicide in the forest, with 54 succeeding. Trigger warning, everyone, again. I'm sorry, this is quite a heavy topic. Hanging is the most common cause, with drug overdose coming in second.
Really?
Yeah, which I thought was, I mean, it makes sense. Recent years, it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you think?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking people might shoot themselves.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even gun laws in Japan. I don't know. Yeah, all comes down to gun laws, I guess, because it's the same in Australia.
True. Yeah, that's true.
The Japanese government have now made numbers of successful suicides unavailable, which I think is a really good idea, fearing that the totals were encouraging others to follow. You can visit the forest, as many tourists do. I don't know if you've seen the show Dark Tourist.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, well, that has the forest. If you go watch the Japanese...
I've watched it ages ago when it first came out on Netflix.
I love him.
I'm hoping there's going to be
a second season.
Rumors.
There are rumors. He was in Sydney the other day.
Really?
David Farrier, everyone look him up. Follow him on Instagram.
He's from New Zealand, isn't he?
Yes, he's amazing.
I don't follow him on social media. I just really enjoyed the show.
He just posts photos of his cats and like...
Oh, he's like us.
He's like us. I love him. Unfortunately, if you do decide to leave the designated trails, so there are trails, you can find evidence of the tragedies that happen in the forest. My friend went to the forest and he left the trail and he found random stuff like he found a can of gas.
Oh.
And a noose. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was... And I was like 14 when he told me this, and it freaked me out so much. I was so fascinated by it.
Wow.
But I wouldn't recommend leaving the trail, obviously, because they're there for a reason. The forest is super dense, and I think out of respect of people, don't go looking for bodies. Like, I know we like our morbid stuff, but it's a touchy subject. Suicide.
And I think people they choose that place because it's a peaceful place.
Yeah, it is super beautiful, but don't go with your mates looking for bodies. That
like
YouTuber did
some YouTubers.
Exactly. Yes. Often you'll find things like moss-covered shoes and clothes, briefcases, personal belongings, photographs, and written notes. And obviously you'll stumble across bodies, which is horrendous. Okay, now back to the ghosts, guys. Many believe the reason there is so much suicide, like we said before, is due to the ghosts of the forest claiming vengeance. So that's one rumor. Often luring visitors off the paths and into the huge expansion of forest. Due to the rich... Okay, this is a crazy one. This blew my mind.
Go for it.
Due to the rich magnetic iron... The soil in the forest can completely throw off cell phone services, GPS, and even compasses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So people can get really
spooked out.
Discombobulated.
Yes. I mean,
confused.
but you would. Like, even me knowing this fact, if I went into the forest and my phone started playing up and my compass started spinning around, the first thing I would think is ghosts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, the volcanic floor is playing,
Yeah.
No. I think... Have you seen the movie The Forest?
Yes.
Yes.
With Queen Marjorie.
Oh, I don't know.
From Game of Thrones.
Oh.
What's her name? Oh, and she was Anne Boleyn in The Tudors. Oh, it's going to bug
American
me.
American blonde chick, right?
No, she's British.
Oh.
Yes, she's fabulous. Yeah, I've seen it. And it's about the two twins.
Yeah,
and
the twins.
the twins. And she goes into the forest.
Yes.
And then she gets really confused in there and stuff. Yeah. It's a good film. Yeah. It's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that stuff apparently happens.
Natalie Dormer.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
not good with
She's
names.
one of those actresses. If she's like Jennifer Aniston for me. If she's in a film, I'll just watch it. I won't even listen to it. I won't even read the synopsis. I'll be like, yep, I trust her. Yep.
Yeah, I guess I'm the
And
same.
J-Lo. I'll watch a J-Lo movie, any J-Lo movie.
Do you watch a Jennifer Aniston movie?
Damn right.
I cannot stand her.
Love her.
She's the one of Friends, right?
Yes.
She described as what, like the flower of spices. She's like the flower. She's like the, what do they say? If she was a spice, she would be flour because she's so plain.
Oh my God, I see what I was thinking flower like a daisy. The flower of spices. That is such an insult.
She's so boring.
No, she's amazing. Watch Dumpling on Netflix.
Yeah,
it's such a great film.
Okay, so there's a horror movie. There's a Chinese
Called
horror movie
Dumplings.
called Dumplings, and then there's this one about this
The beauty
pageant
queen.
called
Yeah.
Dumpling or something. Yeah.
I like
I'll
it.
stick
She's
to
one of
my
those.
Chinese
She's one of those
dumpling.
actresses. She's kind of like, like an America's Sweetheart. You just watch it and you just kind of like forget the world for 2 hours.
Okay, fair. That's true. Forget all your traumas and watch a Jennifer Aniston flick.
Or nay, watch her hair.
Oh, girl.
And
I just want to run my fingers through it.
I know, it's amazing. Anyway,
back to the suicide forest.
I
What a
don't know how-
transition.
That was a cool segue.
It was. Many believe that the demons and the ghosts are to blame for all the weird shit happening to your phones and GPS.
Many people being Esther.
Yeah, well, 100%. I could go into the forest with a scientist, an expert on dirt, the inventor of the compass. Who's the guy who made Apple phones? Is that Bill Gates or something?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. I could go in with all of them and still be like, no, guys, it is the ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my really badly pronounced story about the suicide forest.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
It gives you a little bit of insight. I mean, I knew suicide forest from obviously the name of the forest and hearing spooky stories, but I didn't know the extent of the statistics as well as the weird stuff with the soil and the ice caves. I'm definitely going to go next time I'm in Japan, 100%.
Yeah, I think it's one of those places that, having listened to you speak about it today, it's one of those places that you'll always want to go to.
Yeah.
And you'll
especially
always
if
be
you're a
like,
little bit
oh, damn it,
morbid.
I should have gone there. Or,
Yeah.
But, even if you just go there to have a nice hike
Yes.
in the summertime.
A lot of people go hiking there.
Yeah.
You see Mount Fuji. The forest, the plants in Japan are just, they beat any Australian native. I'm sorry. I'm really not, my dad's a landscape gardener.
Un-Australian.
I've been brought up with Australian natives my whole life. I'm not a fan. I'm sorry.
What flowers did you have?
Give me a vine. Give me a Japanese maple any day.
Oh, I love Japanese
Yeah.
maple. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. What flowers did you have at your wedding?
Oh, I had poppies. But I made sure there were no red ones because I didn't want it to look like, this Anzac Day. I am so Australian.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, girl, it was a mix of like culturally inappropriate. I had origami cranes everywhere. I had poppies that were from New Zealand.
Yeah.
My dress was from Sydney and I think other crossovers of countries.
Where's your husband from?
Oh, he's from Sydney too.
Mine's from Bristol.
Oh, British. Oh, God, I'm so sorry, England. And Australia and New Zealand and Japan and Frankston. Oh, it's just a never-ending apology from me. Well, guys, subscribe to us, definitely.
Yeah.
If you put up with stuff like this.
Yeah. If you do want to follow us on social media, we have a Facebook page. Just look for I Think My Fridge Is Haunted. And also the same on Instagram. I Think My Fridge Is Haunted. And we should probably get some pictures up of those Japanese
Yeah, I'll
demons.
post some pictures tonight. It'll be cool.
That'll be great.
Yeah. I mean, you guys will get it when the podcast comes out, which is around Halloween.
Yes.
So I won't just post random photos of the suicide forest with no context. I'll wait till the episode is out.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's a really good... That didn't occur to me.
It doesn't make sense why they're just posting
Because we're not
photos with no
actually...
context.
because
This isn't in real time, so we're from the past.
we're from the past.
Yeah. So I don't know what will happen by Halloween. I'm I'm getting all my hair cut off.
Are you?
Yeah.
You don't have much to cut off.
I know, so it's going to be quite a shock.
Cool.
To the system. Yeah.
It,
For
you're
those who
just
don't
doing.
know
I
me,
know why you're doing it. Make it easier to put the wigs on.
Yes.
Is it?
Guys, I wear a lot of wigs in my performances now because I have no skill in actual hair. So
It's just easy to wear a wig.
It's so good to wear a wig. It is so good to wear a huge wig and have your like dirty housekeeping hair underneath and not have to worry about washing it, styling it. It's beautiful. I have a lot of shout outs to wig companies, and you're a wig maker, aren't you?
I'm not a wig maker. I'm
Stylist.
I do style wigs sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mostly do hairstyling for like weddings and photo shoots and things, but occasionally a wig will come my way and I'll style it.
I'm sending my wig your way, by the way, because it's covered in fake blood and I can't wash it. So
It's all I ever wanted.
yeah, it's just a big
Thanks.
blonde Jean-Benet Ramsey style wig covered in blood. So it is quite fitting.
Cheers. Thanks. All right. Well, it's my turn.
Dun, dun, dun.
I got a bit nervous all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
look, you're gonna see. It seems easy, but it's not.
It's not. Are you ready for this, for my story?
Yes, girl.
My story. I'm just going to fix up my microphone for a second. Get comfortable. Okay. So we're going back to England.
Oh, your husband's land.
Yes. And we're going back to the past
Oh.
as well. This is, well, it comes under two names. It's known as the Crumbles murders,
Oh, I've never heard this.
but also the one that I'm focusing on today is the murder of Emily Kay.
Is K short for anything? Or is
No, it's Kaye.
Oh.
Yes. Okay.
Hey.
Oh, I hope you like it. This is one of my, I love this story. It's just...
Yeah, I'm excited.
This is great.
Yeah.
I've loved
I'm
this one for
excited.
years.
Okay, let's do this.
Just so you know, details about this story are sometimes quite sketchy, or there's multiple versions to this crime. Like, for example, some of the names, when I was researching it,
Changed.
sometimes this person's wife was that name, and sometimes it's just, there's a few. I think it's a game of Chinese whispers over the years,
Great.
to be honest. So we're just going to have to try to put the pieces together
Okay,
ourselves.
let's speak out a little map for the listeners.
Okay.
Somehow, I don't know.
So the Crumbles murders refers to two separate crimes that took place in the same area. So the Crumbles is a beach. It's a shingle beach in Eastbourne. And I asked my husband what a shingle beach
is, yes.
was, and he said it's a pebble beach with slate.
Do they have shingles over there, like the chicken pox sickness shingles?
Yeah, I think that's everywhere.
Is that...
No, that's got nothing to do with... It's not a diseased beach. It's not like a leper colony
No,
or
I was
anything.
going to say, like, if the type of sand is called shingles, and if you're in like a conversation where you're like, I have shingles, is it the same thing? Oh, I don't know.
No.
Sure. The British definitely would get shingles. I just feel like it's something
That's something they would
they're
do.
kind of prone to.
Yeah, they would just...
Bumps and... I'm so sorry. Once again,
It's such a British thing to do.
Skin conditions and...
So this beach, the Crumbles, is in Eastbourne in England's south. The first murder at the Crumbles was of a young woman on holiday at the beach. Her name was Irene Munro. She was a typist. She was murdered by two men, Jack Alfred Field and William Thomas Gray, on 19th of August 1920. And they buried her on the beach before being convicted and executed at Wandsworth Prison in February 1921. So that was the first murder, just quickly.
Yeah.
But there was another murder, so that's why collectively it's known as the Crumbles murders.
Okay.
So, but the crime that we're looking at is the second murder that took place at the Crumbles, and this one takes place in 1924.
Okay.
Patrick Herbert Mahon, born in 1889 or 1890. We don't know. He lived with no criminal record for the first 19 or 20 years of his life until he got married to 18-year-old Jessie.
Wait, how old was he? Did you say?
He was either 19 or 20.
Oh, okay. So they're around the same age. It's not some like creepy
No.
arrangement.
No.
Okay, cool.
No. He's got married to another person who's about the same age as him.
Okay, sweet.
Some articles call her Jessie, and some articles call her Mofardin.
Two very different names.
So different. So they got married in 1910.
Yep.
And I think I'm just going to call her Jessie.
Okay.
You know.
Easiest.
So now this gets a little bit complicated. So Patrick Mahon was born in West Derby, Liverpool, but he ended up travelling around a lot during this story. So after he gets married, a year later, he takes another woman on a holiday weekend to the Isle of Man. So he's starting to become this sort of womanizer.
Yeah, right.
He's basically, he's trifling, you know. He's
Yep.
can't
While
be
his
dealing.
wife is living back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, you know, working,
A bit
quotation
of a
marks.
Douchebag.
Yeah.
Quotation marks.
So he pays for this trip with forged checks.
Oh, okay.
And he was arrested and bound over. So I looked at what bound over means, and it is like it's almost like a warning, I suppose. Like he was arrested for it, and it's almost like kind of like going out on parole, I think.
Okay.
So he didn't go to prison for it. But then he went on to be arrested for embezzlement, and he was actually imprisoned.
Jesus.
I can't say that he went to prison for a very long time, because in 1916 he was involved in a robbery and given 5 years.
Okay.
So, you know, he's just
he's a
troublemaker.
Shady boy.
Yeah. So during the robbery, he'd hit a maid servant with a hammer. So, yeah, he's escalating from kind of like petty financial crimes, and he's getting violent.
Okay, interesting.
By this time, he had moved south to Surrey, and his wife is still standing by him, even though he's a complete troublemaker. She gets him a job as a salesman at a company that she worked at called Console Automatic Aerators.
Okay. What is that?
And they sold soda fountains.
Oh, they had them back in the day? Like a soda stream?
Well, I think...
Or is it a fountain for your garden?
No. I think it would have been like a type of a soda stream type thing.
They
but
had like mineral water back then? Like soda water?
I don't know.
Wow. All right.
We'll have to look into it.
You know, next episode we will have...
Yes. The
answers for you guys and for us.
And visuals.
Because I love soda. It helps with my IBS. So I'm very interested in this.
But would you buy one from this guy?
He could do it cheap. I don't know. He'd rip me off. I don't know.
Okay, so this is where things start to lead up to what happens at the Crumbles.
Okay.
So part of his job was to travel to Moorgate in London to visit the receiver's head office. And it is at the head office that he meets Miss Emily Beelby Kay.
Oh, God.
Emily is a secretary. She's 38 years old, and she's described as tall and a woman of the world.
Ooh.
She was pretty smart, and she had invested in stocks.
Poor girl. So she had her life going for her.
She's making good decisions.
She's doing her thing. She's got a day job. She's invested in some stocks. She's tall.
She's tall.
And she's the woman of the world, which... What does that mean? She's foreign, or does that mean?
No,
she
I think
travels?
that means she's got her head screwed on.
Good for her.
Maybe she's well traveled, but she's probably she's no idiot.
No, I picture her to look like. Have you seen Best in Show?
No,
I'm going down a rabbit hole. It's that woman from the beautiful blonde woman from Legally Blonde. She works in the nail salon.
Reese Witherspoon.
No, the big busty beautiful woman.
Okay, so she's
The
busty
one that does
and
the
beautiful.
bend and snap. And she has the dog called Boris or something.
Yeah, I can't remember
Tall,
who.
blonde.
Yes,
She's strong.
I can't remember the name.
No, but let's just give that
Yeah.
visual of something K. Katie K?
Emily
K.
EK.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yes. She hangs out with a lot of drag queens now, which I love.
Is that Stifler's mum?
Yes.
Is it? Yes.
She's so sexy.
Yeah, she's goals.
She is. I want to be like her.
All right, so that's our Emily Kay in the movie.
Okay.
So that's who's playing
All right,
Emily Kay.
we've casted Emily Kay.
So she's invested in stocks and she's accrued investments worth about £600, which in the 20s is, that's a lot of money. So
It's a lot of money for me now.
She's been... she's
doing well.
She's doing well. So in the summer of 1922, the two of them ended up spending the day together in London, where they got to know one another better. And before that, they'd been speaking on the phone,
Trading
and they
soda.
had met in passing. And this one day, they started actually spending time together.
Okay.
Let's fast forward 1 year. For one reason or another, Emily loses her job. And she moves to another job as a typist for a finance company, but she's only there for about a month.
Okay.
I couldn't find a reason for this, but it begins a spiral into hard times for Emily. So much so that she is forced to sell her shares 3 months later in February of 1924. And to make matters worse, she gets sick with influenza in March 1924, and she decides to travel to Bournemouth to recover.
Jesus.
Back in the day, people would go to the beach and sort of hang out there for a couple of months.
Which
I mean, I've got a cold, and you don't see me at the beach.
I know. I feel like England's beaches look quite cold from the movies. You can tell I'm a worldly person.
Yeah, look, I don't know about the effectiveness of this method, going to a cold British beach with pebbles on it. Who knows?
Well,
I think it was more for show, really.
Yeah, I think it's very theatrical.
Yes.
I feel, that's probably the only reasoning behind it.
So, bless her heart, she's got the flu. She's gone to Bournemouth.
She's gone to the beach with the flu.
And our favourite wanker, Mahon, follows on. And they ended up staying in a hotel together. And they're booked in as Mr. and Mrs. Mahon.
Okay.
And she knew he was married.
Girl.
Mahon buys her a diamond and sapphire ring. And Emily starts telling her friends they're engaged.
Girl.
And after getting married, they planned... No, they're not married, but she was telling people after they got married, they planned to move to South Africa.
That is a big change from...
She got plans.
She is a woman of the world.
Mm-hmm. She got plans. She's got ideas.
Yeah, good for her.
And there's a record of her telling her sister this on the 5th of April, 1924. While she's writing to her sister... Sorry, I'm going to be throwing a lot of dates at you.
I'm very dyslexic.
It's a timeline.
So
it's a timeline.
Great.
So she's writing to her sister on the 5th of April, and Mahon is travelling. He sees an ad for a house rental for a place called the Officer's House at the Crumbles, and he travels to Langley to make a booking.
Yep.
Thank God for booking.com.
Wait, is this the Langley... Oh, see, I'm going to put my...
No, it's not the CIA.
No. Like a hotel? Like the Langley Hotel?
Oh, no. I think it's like
it
a town. So I guess if you wanted to go on holiday somewhere, I guess you could either send them a telegram, say, hey, I'm coming.
Yeah,
put a doona on the bed.
Yeah, put a towel on the pebbles on the beach.
See you Sunday.
I've got the flu again, guys.
Okay, so he books the house for the 11th of April, and I've written something small under the name of Waller.
Cheeky
Cheap
bastard.
I know. Oh, he's just trifling. It's just it
His
never
surname's
ends.
hard enough. Don't make another one. Mahon. I don't
Mahon.
reckon that's the pronunciation.
I don't either. It's O-N.
Is it Irish?
Man.
Man. I don't know.
Could be Man.
I can't
My
even pronounce my surname,
pronunciation-
so good luck.
My pronunciation matches your Japanese pronunciation.
There we go.
And this is in English and I can't even
50-50.
do it, so
Oh, and
There we
your
go.
husband's British, so
fail. Okay, so he books in under a fake name that I can pronounce called Walla. He books it for the 11th of April to the 6th of June
yep.
for 3.5 guineas per week.
Okay.
And at this
seems
point,
cheap.
well, I don't know how much three guineas
It
is.
sounds cheap.
Well, you know, I don't know. At this point, Emily has gone back home to London. So she's recovered. And I guess they planned to take this trip or meet to stay together because she travels to Eastbourne, checks in to the Kenilworth Court Hotel
Yep.
and waits for Man to get in contact. So they're
Here
going
we
to meet up
go.
at this officer's house.
Sexy.
Okay, so moving on. Where was Patrick, our friend Patrick Mahon, all this time while she's waiting in the hotel room?
Bastards.
I will tell you. Trifling. On 10th of April, near Richmond Station, 32-year-old Ethel Primrose Duncan meets a man who walks her part of the way home in the rain to the house she says shares with her sister. Part of the way home.
Does that mean he like stopped halfway to the destination and was like, "All right, love, on you go"?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a sign in itself.
Yeah, red flags.
Yeah.
Red flags. Okay, so he tells her his name is Pat Waller and that his marriage is on the rocks. They agree to meet again and he sends her a telegram on the 15th of April asking if she would like to meet the following day on the 16th of April. She waits for him at the agreed time of 7 p.m. at Charing Cross Station, but he doesn't turn up for almost an hour.
Ugh.
And this is in the days before like Starbucks. So like she's literally
she's
just hanging
standing
out.
in the cold.
Literally just, you know,
With
probably
her
in
phantom
heels.
Macchiato.
Okay, so he arrives and he's got his wrist bandaged up.
Okay.
He tells her he sprained it helping a woman who had fallen off a bus.
What a hero.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, this guy, he's a catch.
He is a catch. That's not a red flag. That's not a self-defense wound, potentially.
No.
No, he's just being a good guy.
Yeah.
Helping an innocent, helpless, pathetic woman because we can't defend for ourselves. Like,
No. Helped her to her grave.
fall off a bus or fall off a bike? What was it?
She fell off a bus.
Fell off a bus. Women.
So let's go back to Emily at the Kenilworth Court Hotel. On the 12th of April, she gets a telegram from Mahon asking her to meet him at the station that afternoon. She meets him and they take a taxi to the officer's house at the Crumbles. For some reason, Emily asks the hotel to forward any mail to Poste Restante Paris. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Plot
I've put
thickens.
in brackets, I've put for myself. Which suggests she believed she and Mahon to be travelling there soon after. That's what I've also written. But he's booked the officer's house till June. So obviously he's got completely different plans to what she has in mind.
Flags.
Before Emily had met up with Mahon at the station, he had been recorded as going to the Staines Kitchen Equipment Company and buying a 10-inch cook's knife plus a small meat saw.
I mean, don't trust a man with a 10-inch cook knife, especially if he's a cook.
I don't know about that. I mean,
this guy isn't
there's some
even
great cooks out
I
there.
don't know. Look,
Don't trust a man with a 10-inch cook knife who isn't a cook.
okay, fair enough.
He's
Look,
got
I
no
just don't really
reason.
trust men. So
You just married one. So, okay. Going back to Emily, a butcher saw Emily on the Sunday. The staff at the hotel saw her on the Monday and possibly on the Tuesday because she was going in to see if they had any post for her, which takes us up to the evening of Tuesday, 15th of April, when neighbours say they no longer saw Emily. Now, remember, Mahon is in London the following night on his own with a, quotation marks, sprained wrist.
Oh, this guy.
Ethel Primrose agrees to travel to Eastbourne and stay with, quotation marks, Pat Waller for a few days. Obviously, she isn't aware of his girlfriend, Emily. He takes her out for the day, out for lunch, out for dinner, finally back to the officer's house where they stayed for 3 days. Ooh. So, he's showing this girl a good time. And where's Emily?
This is just textbook.
Yeah, I know. So Ethel noticed while she was at the officer's house, she noticed women's shoes and cosmetics at the house, and Mahon told her his wife had been there recently to stay.
Girl.
On Easter Saturday, Ethel went out shopping while Mahon went to the races. While he was out, he dropped by the post office and sent himself a telegram. It said, "Must see you Tuesday morning, 9, Cheapside, from Lee."
Okay.
He took Ethel for dinner and they went back to the officer's house. The next morning, Ethel saw Mahon trying to lock the door of one of the bedrooms. She could see inside the bedroom was a brown trunk, and he told her there were valuable books inside the trunk and he didn't want them stolen.
Okay, so we're talking like
the Egyptian Book of the Dead, that's supposed to be in a museum. We're talking Sotheby's level collectors,
We're talking manuscript of J.K. Rowling's...
Harry Potter.
Yeah. Devil Wears Prada. That stressful situation.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway.
It's it's the first edition of the Bible. It's still written on stone.
Okay. It's Dolly magazine back in 2007 when you had to...
2007, girl. I was reading that in 94.
That's how I had sex ed.
Yeah, didn't we all?
The sealed section.
Yeah. Dolly Doctor.
I learned so much.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, so she's seen this brown trunk and he tells her there's valuable books inside. Mm-hmm. And to sort of, put a exclamation mark on his point, he screws the door closed.
Oh, girl.
I mean, this isn't even his house. He's he's screwing doors closed.
Screwing a door shut.
Yeah. Mahon showed her the fake telegram and said they had to head back to London. So he's basically saying, get out. So Monday they took a train home, watched a show at the Palladium, and Mahon dropped Ethel off at her house late that night. So let's go forward a couple of weeks to the 30th of April. Jessie Mahon, Patrick's wife,
the
up
OG.
north, OG,
the one that's still sitting
waiting at home, knitting the world's longest scarf for when he comes home.
Dolly magazine.
Exactly.
Waiting for her man.
So she knew something was up with him, and she knows he's a troublemaker. I mean, she's stuck by him all these years. He's been to prison.
Honey.
He's been embezzling money. He's buying things with fake checks.
He goes to the races by himself.
Goes to the races, full stop.
Oh, yeah.
And he's hitting housekeepers over the head with hammers.
Yes.
I mean, red flags, man.
Yes.
So she goes through his jacket pockets because she wants to find out what he's been up to.
Next level spy.
Yeah. She finds a left baggage ticket and she shows it to a friend of hers who's actually a former railway police officer.
That's a good type of friend to have.
I know, handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
So she's like, dude, look, I found this, baggage ticket. My husband, he's always away, quotation marks, on business. Can you check this out? So he takes the ticket down to the station at Waterloo and he asks for the bag. He takes the bag and he pries open the sides. So he's not breaking the lock or anything like that. He's just sort of prising it open, see what he can see. And he sees inside a knife and female underwear, and it's got blood on it.
That's just textbook.
Dodge.
Yes. How do you cover that up?
Well, I'll tell you. He's got a plan.
Of course he does.
This guy's got a plan. He puts the bag back and he tells Jessie, just put the ticket back in the jacket. And
which I think you would do. Like if you found that your husband had a suitcase full of blood, weapons,
put the ticket back.
You just slowly put the ticket back.
You
in
know
your
nothing.
Pocket, sit back down, grab your Dolly magazine, and just continue on.
And maybe pack an overnight bag with your
setting
passport
things into motion.
Yeah, and maybe $100.
Get out of there
and
take your
a change
shoes.
of underwear and a hairbrush.
Yep. And some
just in case you have to go on the run.
Oh, I'd be
Yeah.
You would 100%.
So then her friend contacts the chief constable and he tells him what he's seen, and the chief constable sends a detective, DCI Savage, down to the station.
Dick Savage.
No,
DCI.
DCI. Oh. I love where you took that. That's amazing. You're obsessed with drag queens, aren't you? Or that's like a great drag king name.
Yeah. Well, I'm in a drag show tomorrow night, so maybe I'll just.
You're preoccupied.
I've got Dick Savage on my mind. Jesus.
So Dick Savage.
Okay, Dick Savage
is assigned the job of investigating this case. See what I did there?
That's good.
What a great pun.
That's our first t-shirt design.
Never investigate the case. So he too goes and looks in the bag and replaces it and waits for Mahon to come and claim it. And the next evening, 2nd of May, he actually does.
Okay.
He's arrested and he's taken to Scotland Yard.
Yep.
Mahon admits the bag is his and Dick Savage opens it. There were items of women's clothing covered in blood and disinfectant.
Oh.
As well as a racket bag with the initials EBK, Emily Bealby K.
Oh, no.
They ask him, and I also read that he had sprinkled disinfectant. So I think the disinfectant was like a powder back then, or kind of like a
lime.
Yeah, I'm sure there's still
or
a disinfecting powder you can get.
Well, I'm a cleaner by day.
You are, so you would know.
Well, the thing is, I don't think I do.
I don't know if there's a powder. I think I am thinking back to the 80s and thinking it was yesterday.
Wait, yeah,
do you
it's
sometimes
not the
do
80s.
That?
Isn't this story set in the 20s?
It's the 20s. Okay. So they say, where did this blood come from? And like I said, he's got a plan.
Of course.
He replies he'd been carrying meat for dogs.
Oh, yeah, because he's such a good Samaritan.
And I know I always carry my dog food wrapped up in women's underwear.
You know what? That's where I keep my blood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why would you not? So Dick Savage replies, and this is amazing, that explanation won't do.
Savage, eh?
Savage dude. #savage.
Be
like DCI Savage.
DCI, okay, so it's not exactly Dick.
No, it's DCI, like detective.
Jesus.
Inspector.
Esther, you're studying criminology. You don't know these important initials yet?
#fail. Okay, so he says that explanation won't do, and they sit there in silence for an hour.
Look, which seems, that is pretty intense. I mean, but I've seen some footage of interrogations and the criminal will sit there for hours, 12 hours in silence.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I'll have to find the video and post it on Instagram.
Like they're literally just going through their head all the different types of ways they can try to get out of this.
They will sit there in silence. They will go on hunger strikes. They'll just sit there. Like,
wow.
It is, I can't remember. There's some there's some murderer out there and there's footage of him on the internet and he's just sitting in the room. And I think it's like maybe 6 hours before he's like, you know what? All right, I'll tell you what's
happening. And did the detective sit there as well?
They just sat there with him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so frustrating.
It is crazy.
Just staring at each other.
Yeah, it's literally like, you know, refusal to speak.
Wow.
So,
So after an hour, which I thought was a long time, apparently not, Mahon says, I suppose you know everything. I'll tell you the truth.
Nice.
And it takes 2 hours to take down his full statement, in which he claims that on the 15th of April, a couple of weeks before, he and Emily had got into an argument during which she had thrown an axe at him, obviously.
Yeah.
And the axe hit the door frame and they struggled. She fell, according to him, and she hit her head and died.
So he was innocent. So he's an innocent man.
Yeah. Men are victims too. Well, he is.
Yeah, you know, she was the one that instigated it. She threw the axe out of rage. He avoided it. It hit the wall. I'm sure there's a mark in the wall. And then she just happened to lose her balance and hit her head and die.
It's all very.
And he just kind of stood back the whole
straightforward.
time. Yep, easy. That explains the knife in the case with the underwear that's bleeding.
Totally
from
does.
her head.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So the officers head down to the house and they do in fact notice bloodstains in the living room, but no mark left by an axe in the door frame. The officers also noticed a terrible smell. So more red flags.
The disinfectant didn't work.
Mm-hmm. In the brown trunk in the bedroom, also marked EBK, they found 4 parcels containing dismembered remains of a woman.
So you mean the dog food?
Hashtag dog food. Yeah. They found... Oh, okay. Just prepare yourself.
Trigger warning.
Yeah. Violence.
Yeah.
They found her heart and other organs in a biscuit tin and in a hat box. And there were boiled body parts in a saucepan. Not unlike...
Catherine Knight.
Yes, exactly. But unlike Catherine Knight's case, they never found the head.
Oh, God. Okay.
So what he'd done was he had dismembered the body. He spent the whole Easter weekend with Ethel.
Jesus.
Then he returned to finish. So he said to her, we've got to get back to London. This Lee guy has sent me a telegram. We've got to go and we'll watch a show while we're there. And then he's headed back to Eastbourne.
Yep.
And he's been cutting Emily up. He boiled parts of the body so he could then cut them into smaller pieces. Other parts he burned from 2 grates within the house. Human ash was later found, along with bone fragments, in the fireplaces in both sitting rooms.
That is intense.
Yeah.
And to be able, like, sure, I mean, if you actually look at his profile and he starts off as a criminal doing kind of petty stuff.
Exactly.
But then it progresses into him being violent towards women.
Yeah.
We don't know if he was violent towards men. Probably.
Well, who knows what else he did that we don't know about.
But to then, this was premeditated, and to murder someone, begin to, process the body, then to go away for 3 days with a lover.
Yes.
And just...
It indicates a callousness, doesn't it?
It's really twisted. And then to like
he's not feeling any remorse.
No, like almost in honeymoon phase, you know, having sex and going out to shows and whatnot, and then coming back like it, and then, you know, resuming
back to it like it's a project that he's working on.
That really shows the type of kind of monster this guy was.
Exactly. Yeah.
Disgusting.
So it actually took him a couple of weeks to dispose of the body, and Mahon said, I boiled some of the body in a pot. I burned the head in an ordinary fire. It was finished in 3 hours.
It's craziness.
I know. The next day I broke the skull and put the pieces in a dustbin.
That is
So,
hardcore.
I mean, you know, literally just for the rubbish to be picked up.
Yeah.
As if it's just something that he scraped out
Yeah.
of the fire.
Yeah.
The thigh bone I burned. It is surprising what a room fire will burn, he said. There was one in the back sitting room and one in the front sitting room.
So he would have just been churning it out.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy. That I wonder if that house is still there.
I reckon
If
it
it would
would
be
be.
haunted.
I reckon it probably
Imagine,
would be.
yeah,
I'll look into that.
Both fireplaces being used as a homemade cremation pit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He said there was one in the back sitting room, one in the front sitting room, and you'll find some bones in there. Her clothes are still there. I used the silk and cloth to wrap pieces of the body in. The night I was arrested, I was returning to the bungalow to get some more. The bloodstains in the trunk will be from pieces of body I put in there till I could carry them away. And in fact, between 900 and 1,000 bone fragments were found in the grates.
Amazing work for them, though.
Yeah.
What a job. I'm not...
I mean, how do you figure out like what's a piece of bone and what's like just a charred piece of something else?
What was this in the 20s?
1924.
That's to me. That's just so advanced. Such an advanced thing to be able to do it in that era. I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like so many crime scenes nowadays are so botched.
Mm-hmm.
Yet in the 20s, these guys managed to pull out.
It showed dedication.
Yeah, it's really good. It's so different to a lot of the dodginess happening at the moment.
So it was surmised that Emily Kay had found out about Patrick's criminal past, and had also found out she was pregnant with his baby.
Jesus.
She threatened to go to his employers and expose him unless he eloped with her, which is possibly why they had their post relocated to Paris.
Okay.
In July, Mahon's case went to trial, and Ethel Primrose Duncan testified that she knew nothing about the murder.
See, that's tricky. She might just be a dumbass.
What, I mean, seriously, what is she, blind?
She could have been. We don't know.
Well, that's true.
That's a thing.
During the trial, 2 men of the jury actually collapsed and had to be replaced due to the gruesome nature of the evidence. Mahon broke down in tears, bless his heart.
Oh, poor babe.
I know, and told them Emily had been infatuated with him and she attacked him, resulting in her accidental death.
Okay.
The jury were not convinced, and the judge is said to have had contempt for Mahon. So they're just not taking it. They're not having any of his shenanigans.
He wasn't pulling a Ted Bundy in court.
He tried.
He tried.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he tried.
Okay, so the jury's not convinced, blah, 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 blah. He was found guilty of murder and hanged.
Good. Amen.
On September 3rd, 1924. So this really didn't take long. I mean, she died in April. Some said he tried to jump away from the gallows as the trapdoor opened.
Okay,
So
that's one way of executing yourself even faster.
Yeah, like that
With a
probably,
noose already
like
around
it's
your neck.
basically like jumping into being hanged, isn't it? It's like that's actually probably going to be a worse thing to do.
Yeah, that will. I mean, it'll go either 2 ways. It'll break your neck really fast.
Yeah.
Or he'll
Swing
botch it
around.
up so bad that it'll be a slow like slump into the hang.
Well, they didn't go into any detail about what kind of hang he had. So, and one thing that he did before he was hanged, he sent his wife a letter, and she remained loyal to him until the end. It is said that Emily Kay had haunted Patrick Mahon after her death, and this is my favourite part of the story.
Here we go.
When he placed her head on the fire, a bolt of lightning flashed, and the heat from the fire opened her eyes. Some versions of the story also claim that lightning struck as he was being sentenced. So she was actually haunting him after he killed her.
Yes, girl. I cannot wait to do that to someone when I die.
Yeah, and I hope you do.
You know what? I will be greasing off the last person to the very last breath of my lungs. I will.
What if it's like a poor doctor?
You know what, doctors? I don't know.
But you know what? They're probably used to stuff like that happening.
Oh, they probably get off on it a little bit.
Oh, I don't know about that, but corpses do crazy stuff. There's gases, man. Gases.
Oh yeah, I have some stories.
Oh really?
About gas
and
about
corpses.
Tune in next week to I think my fridge is on.
Yeah, okay. That's going to be an episode. So the case had a profound effect on the investigation of homicides to come.
Amazing.
So one of the key figures in this story was pathologist Bernard Spilsbury, who said that the scene was one of the worst he'd ever witnessed. He noticed during the crime scene investigation that the police officers were handling rotten flesh with their bare hands. He asked why they didn't wear gloves, and they replied they just never did.
Yeah, okay.
So was created the murder bag or detective's box, a kit designed for crime scenes and containing rubber gloves, tweezers, a magnifying glass, forceps, compass.
Oh my God.
Which you can't use in the suicide forest. Ruler and cotton swabs.
And it will also be our first merch.
Yes. Don't go anywhere without your detective
your
box.
Murder bag.
Your murder box. A policy was soon after instituted that detectives must carry a murder bag when they respond to a murder scene. So I suppose that's Emily's legacy is, you know...
A murder bag.
The murder bag. It's improvement.
It's awesome, but... Would you... I guess, yeah, I'd like my memory to be a murder bag.
You're asking yourself, aren't you? And then you're going, actually, that's a pretty cool legacy to leave.
It is.
Yeah. So that's the case of Emily Kay, and it's one of my absolute favourite stories, the story of her eyes opening.
Hardcore.
On the fire. It's just such a scary image.
Which I don't think is... impossible. I mean, surely
I think it probably may have happened. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think maybe because the fire obviously would have been so hot, that close to, you know, whatever is burning it on, wood or whatever, and it's probably just hit her eyelashes.
Totally. Or like the thin layers of skin.
Maybe she had those like Russian extensions and it's just blown her eyes open.
That cheap plastic eyelash.
Drag lashes.
Yeah.
Stacked.
Oh, stacked with cheap Daiso eyelash glue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. $2.80 lifesaver. Stacked.
So if you want your eyes to open on the fire after you're dead, stack those lashes.
Stack those lashes,
stack
ladies.
them. So that's the end of episode 1, everybody. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for tuning in.
2 of you.
Yeah. Us in our car will listen to this and cry. If you guys have any spooky stories, and I mean anything, I'm talking ghosts, true crime, creepy things your neighbors did while you were looking through their window.
Mm-hmm. That's what I want to hear, the burb style.
Yes. I want to hear about creepy kids, things kids say, and creepy kids.
Creepy kids that think that they've been born again, like they've lived before. I want to hear about stories.
We want to hear about
haunted houses that you lived in,
cryptids,
aliens, yes,
bunyips, yowies.
You're all about the bunyip, aren't you?
Bunyips are so scary for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to talk about them one day.
They're the Australian equivalent to Pennywise the Clown. They live in like sewers and stuff.
Well, no, don't they live in like a swamp?
Yeah, connected to a sewer. That's what I was told. I mean,
I don't know. You're not going to get a bunyip in Frankston.
I don't know. Have you seen some of the... I'll stop.
I thought they were more something like out in like the bush, like out in the country.
Well, I heard they were in like the they were up towards Turadin or like the...
What?
Like
really?
Yeah, creepy. There's some sort of swamp that you can go to that's just outside the peninsula, and it's like mangroves or something.
Okay.
And that's where the bunyips are, and it's petrifying. terrifying to me. I don't really know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, nah, scary stuff, man. Get on it.
I will.
We want to hear Mothman stuff.
Mothman.
Australian equivalent, which I would not be surprised because we have big insects. So
Yeah.
if you just
It was
if
just
you
an
guys
actual
see
moth.
like just a big bug, let us know. Take a photo.
Yeah.
Also, you can follow us on all the social medias, which is, I think My Fridge is Haunted on Facebook, Instagram. And if you want to follow our personal accounts, mine is Pistolina_burlesque and Gem's is Gemma
_ Cherie.
Cherie. Girl. You can see photos of our cats.
Yeah. Basically,
guys.
that's pretty much all I post. It's just pictures of my cats.
Yeah.
Well,
same.
I only have one cat, but you have cats.
I have 5 cats.
5? I thought it was
5.
3.
No, honey.
Whoa.
Yeah, no.
The family evolves.
A lizard and a dog and a husband. I got it all.
Yep.
Okay, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Stay spooky.
Stay creepy.
And go and pat your cat. Meow.
And neuter your cat.
And your boyfriends.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.